welcome to Runeterra. I am super excited for this set 2 card. It is a sweet champion. The keyword is awesome. As you can see, it's going to be Toss, but I can't believe it. The Mad Lads actually went and did it and gave us Mill, even though I'm pretty sure they said previously they wouldn't. But how good is it? What does a champion do? And is it going to be finding a place in the next meta? Let's find out together.
I am the forest!
So to start things off, as I mentioned, we have a new keyword, Toss, and what that means, it's going to self-mill the bottom X cards of your deck, non-champion, which is really important so you don't lose your win con, but let's say it's Toss 3, you mill the bottom 3 cards of your deck, and this is super important because that's free information that you're also getting. In a normal course of the game, you're never going to draw, let's say those last 10 cards. As you're self-milling yourself, you know what cards are in your deck, out of your deck, and can help you strategize a little bit better about what your outs might be. And yes, it's going to feel bad if, let's say, you need a Ruination to win and you see yourself mill that Ruination. Well, you weren't going to draw it anyways. It's just, it went in front of you. They ripped up the card. They did the cool animation, and it is what it is. But Toss as a keyword, I think overall is super exciting, but I'm really, really happy to see what the win con is. And, on the front, it's going to be, looks like it's difficult at first, but it's really not that bad. So yes, as you'd imagine, we have the Tree Daddy himself, Maokai, which is a 4-drop 1/4. Now the stats aren't that impressive. It's fine. You'll see the more support cards we have later, but it's really his level upside that is what all this news is about. So the first time you play an ally each round, Toss 2. So again, you mill the bottom 2 cards and summon a Sapling. We'll get to that in just a minute. So the thing that I want to clarify on the bottom half of this card, and I think it's because there's a Spanish mistranslation that was running around, or that's at least what I was able to find in the official Discord prior to recording this, is that it's 25 cards tossed and or units died. So those two numbers come together, and if you're in Shadow Isles, that's not hard to do, right? You have a lot of token generators. There's a lot of ways that you want your units to die anyways for values. So this should be a fairly easy level up condition, which does worry me a little bit off the bat. And if you really dig into the spoiler video, there's a couple instances where there seems to be more spells that give you free toss, but because there wasn't a unit on the board. Now that is speculation. There might be more details around that. But we still have, 5 more Shadow Isles cards to go, and at least 2 of them are confirmed to still be in this archetype. So hopefully we get them soon. I'm a little bummed out they didn't show us all the cards that actually support this, but we'll go off the information we have today in terms of how playable they are and then different strategies that I'm looking forward to. So the leveled up version. Gains an attack, gains a health, has regeneration, whatever, right? When you level up, you obliterate the enemy deck, leaving 4 non-champion cards. So if you saw in that opening animation, it's really cute what it does, but it forces your opponent to win very, very quickly, while also at the start of the round giving you a Sapling, which is going to be, just a free blocker, basically, as you're going to find out here shortly, or a free attacker. And because it has an ability to get back, let's say, Shark Chariot, there's quite a few cute things that you can do in terms of alternate win conditions that this doesn't just win by itself, but another video, talk about that a little bit. But I'm super excited for this. So yes, this is, in my opinion, if we think about things like Ezreal and Karma, right, in terms of these, you get their level up conditions, you should automatically win. Ezreal doesn't feel good because of the burst, and as of today, as of recording of this, it is officially on the watch list, and I do expect Ezreal to change some point in set 2. I commented about 2 months ago, actually looking back in the official Discord, that Ezreal should be on the watch list already, and he's finally there, and I'm sure that something's going to happen, because look, we're only going to get more burst spells, we're only going to get more a spell density where it's going to just overpower Ezreal. Now, I think Karma will be changed as well at some point, but that might be set 3 or set 4. It's much, much later. So what do these do, right? We talked about the saplings, and we talked about the different needing to stay alive, but what's going to help? And let's wrap this up by talking about what's going to be, we'd assume, again, as I'm recording this, not 100% confirmed, but basically confirmed, his champion spell card is going to be Sap Magic. Toss 3 more, heal allies 3, which I'm assuming is Nexus as well in this case. We'll find out, but really you're just going to use this because it's Toss 3. It helps with his level up condition. But saplings, and I have a little cut out there because there was a little preview in the video, but we couldn't see what the card actually does. But it was called Sapling Toss. based on the data mine, and we know that it's a 1-cost burst spell. So a sapling itself is a 2/1 ephemeral and challenger unit. So what I really love about this, speculation, if Sapling Toss is going to be like the PNZ equivalent that makes the scrap unit, if this allows us to get a sapling at burst speed and have challenger and have that very important tag to get back Shark Chariots, you could, in theory, open your turn, play this, retain priority, and immediately go to attacks and bring back a couple Shark Chariots with it. And this is also important, right? Because this is going to keep your units dying, which is going to help Maokai's level up. And really, this is a very low cost in terms of getting potentially 3 more units to die and help trigger that. Now, of course, if you have other stuff in your hand, like let's say a Hecarim, which I think might be an actual solid alternate win con, believe it or not, for this list, because it's getting you back Spectral Riders, which are then bringing back Shark Chariots. A lot of you're getting the theme that's going around here, right? It's just a way to help buff those units and make sure that you're still getting value out of them. So I really do like this in terms of where this might go, in terms of helping us understand what other type of sub theme needs to go with this so you can actually survive, right? But a 1-drop 2/1 that you're getting for free every turn once he's leveled up, or very easy to get as you're just playing units and you have Maokai in play, very solid. And the fact that it's challenger, right, you can clear the way for your bigger units to make sure they're connecting, is all pluses all the way around. So let's get into the more units, right, in terms of what actually is going into this this list, right? The initial look into the archetype, as we should say. And Thorny Toad is the first one. It's a 2-drop 1/4, so very, very defensive card. Now, obviously, elusives and fearsomes will just go right past this, but what I really love is that the last breath, you're going to toss 2, again, helping you level up, and you're going to heal your Nexus 2. So the way to really think about these cards is this is a +3 in terms of it's going to die, so you're going to get the +2 from that, and then when it dies, it also counts for the Maokai's level up. So automatically off the bat, you're seeing this where should be a little bit easier to resolve in terms of level up effect than you might have thought previously. And again, healing 2 can be extremely, extremely relevant in just helping survive against those early aggressive decks, which in theory should be the types of decks to punish this one, but Noxus spoilers and X, we have to see what they get, because as of the recording, the meta that we're currently in, aggro decks with Overwhelm haven't really been that great, and Fearsome hasn't really existed at all. So we have to wait and see where that's going to be. But again, in terms of the archetype and what you want to be running, unless those 5 unknown cards that most likely also fit in this archetype are better than this, which I doubt, this is just going to be automatic. You play the full suite of them as you can, and you're going to be happy to see it every single time on 2. The one that I really like, even though if it dies in Mystic Shot, is the 3-drop 3/2 with Lifesteal. So as I talked about with Fearsome, right, having that 1/4 might feel bad, but this at least lets you block some of those Fearsome units and gain some health back. So again, you're seeing this very, we need to stall to survive type of plan, and then when it's summoned, toss 3. So look, we're in Shadow Isles. There's tons of way to loop this, get it back, get extra value. It has Lifesteal automatically, which is insane. If you use Mark of the Isles, you can buff it up to even more life gain. There's a lot of things that you can do with this one card that's just a common that, again, I can't imagine what those other cards are going to be yet, because we simply don't know, but this automatically screams like a play all of it, always happy to see it, jam it in the deck. It's going to be great for you. Again, Lifesteal just being such a hard to get keyword in a lot of the lists that it's very welcome to see in Shadow Isles. And you do have things like Dark Water, but does that make the cut in this list? I'm not sure. 5 attack and 5 life gains always good. If you need to get a little bit extra boost, you can help trade out units where you need to, but this one always has the advantage of toss, which is exactly what you want to be doing in your deck. So again, this is technically a +4 for Maokai's level up. And then the one that I think is just absolutely insane is the Snapvine. So yes, as we just mentioned some of those other cards, when they die, it helps feed your level up. When you summon any follower in this case, it's going to automatically kill it. So it's an immediate trigger for Maokai. And then if you have things like the Toad, right, that's immediately going to give you the +3 value, heal your Nexus. And then on top of that, you're still going to get the 4/3 attacker, which is insane, right? 4 attack is such a key turning point for against a lot of decks, where if you can somehow fill out your board with just getting these 4/3s, it's going to be very, very powerful. And this really is an all-in-one, potentially dangerous combo enabler in terms of just a free sacrifice outlet, especially in Shadow Isles that wants to have a free sacrifice outlet, all the better. So in terms of the spoilers, I think this one's my favorite, but I'm also very worried about where this might go just in terms of other value cards that you can get out of this, right? In the different scenarios where maybe you're just running Prankster, right? And you want to make sure that you're getting all the value in terms of things dying and getting that extra damage on your opponent. Prankster might not be the end-all be-all direction of this, but you kind of get the idea, right? It's not just the fact that this can, give you that auto kill to help level up Maokai and then also get value off of it. It's an insane enabler. Now, it is very expensive at 7. That is kind of a rough turn to try to bring this down, but I think when someone finds the right pieces for it, this is a card that can absolutely see play, and I'm very excited to see what direction it goes in. From that, we've talked about, why is this important and why is this card so good? So the first thing that came to mind for me is, we talked about Sapling Toss initially, and I'm expecting that we're going to see more. So again, with Sapling Toss, it could be a burst speed, get a unit, then you automatically have a 4/3 on the board. So let's say Christmas Miracle Land, you have triple Sapling Burst in your hand. Again, speculation. Produces a 2/1, it's going to kill it, and you can cycle 3 of those and then suddenly be swinging out with a board of 16 power on it before your opponent could even do anything. That's pretty strong. So Haunted Relic, summon 3, it should work based on the wording. So off a single card, you're able to then generate 3 more 4/3s, and then also, again, Maokai is going to get that +3 off this card, so that turns a +3 in theory into a +6 in that case, because they're eventually going to have to answer the 4/3s, or they're just going to die to it. And then the reason why I have Rasa here as reference as well is because this is a card that says, I want to see stuff die, and I'm assuming this is not going to be the last version of this, but let's say that your opponent only has 2 key units on board, right, and you have a cheap Haunted Relic, which could be spell mana, you have a cheap 1-drop or something else that you don't care about it dying. You can play it, force yourself to have something to die. Glimpse does this as well, I get it, but then you can follow it up with a Rasa. So just more ways to enable that on death matters type of effects. Now, again, Rasa is going to die in that process, so yeah, it's a pretty bad trade-off if that's the only play you have, but at the same time, if that's their only out is those last 2 maybe big elusive units, they're never going to block with them. They're going to always let your units go through, and then you're probably playing Glimpse anyways because you want to draw cards and get to your key engine pieces. Rasa, cost 8, hasn't seen a lot of play lately, but I think it still has a spot where this might be able to come back. And again, I'm mostly referencing because there's probably other cards in Shadow Isles with this next set that are going to see more of these when something died, do X, or some kind of importance there, right? So having this generator that's then going to give us a 4/3 out of it. So Rasa, loses some power, loses some health, but he's still getting to kill 2 units, and you get a unit after that. So it's not terrible, but again, maybe a more niche interaction that, might not be relevant at all when it comes to it. But I'm very excited to see that Shadow Isles is getting a free sack outlet. Again, even if it does worry me a little bit, just because you're also then getting units on top of it. So it's going to be crazy to see what might happen with these few cards. And again, still have much more of set 2 to go in general, so it might not just be Shadow Isles, right? It could be anything that's out there in terms of last breath effects that just gets something back in the end. So with that, it's another look at set 2 spoilers with Maokai coming in as a mill deck. I have to say I am super excited for this. I love mill decks, and I think this is probably the best way to do mill decks in that you're not burning out just your opponent for that win condition, right? So if you fail to draw, you lose. I should have mentioned up front, but if you don't know, if you fail to draw in Runeterra, you lose. So this is a great way to say that I'm milling out my own deck, I'm bringing out my own resources, but then once I level up, the game should end very quickly. So you're not robbing, your opponent of those draws per se. It's just your own mill cards that are going through. So, I mean, the theme of this, I know some people are saying it's not like the tanky, beefy, regeneration style of Maokai that they might have liked, but I'm happy to see a mill deck and just this alternate, very different win condition, different strategy coming to life, because it shows that they're willing to take chances on this and really try to get out of those tried and true of, different type of attackers and more combat focus, where this is now a control theme that says, I'm going to win the game eventually, and you can see this slowly ticking up over time. And then when it happens, it's 4 cards left. It's coming. Those 4 cards got to be good. So we'll see. I'm super excited for this. I hope you guys really enjoyed this kind of look at set 2 previews with Shadow Isles. So again, it looks like Noxus is coming up next. If you want to see more Runeterra content like this in the future, don't forget to subscribe. Coming up next, I'm going to be working on a Callista deck, which I'm very excited for thanks to the change. And I won't go into the patch review and all that stuff yet. Maybe when set 2 comes out, I'll do like patch review videos as well. But a lot of great changes today. I'll make sure to link that down below if you haven't checked them out already. But I think very positive things are coming for this last 2 weeks, and we'll have to see how it shakes out. So thank you everybody so much for watching. Hope you have a good rest of the day, and I hope to see you sometimes in Runeterra. See ya.